Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is SewRena and today's video is all about revenge because I refuse to allow a reproduction pattern to get the better of me. So today we're revisiting this monstrosity of a reproduction pattern by Simplicity, and hopefully I will do it some justice because I am in love with the neckline. So if you're interested in seeing if I do this successfully, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now let's get into the video. I've already done a review on this pattern, so here's a materials list like I stated in my last video I would start including in my video. The most frustrating part of this pattern, specifically the reproduction pattern, was deciphering the fisheye darts for the front of the skirt. The back was relatively easy, which is what I'm doing now, and then I had to put a little bit more focus on deciphering the multi-pattern dart layout that they had for the front, which to this day, I'm still not sure why they made it so difficult. I'm using the pattern instructions as a straight edge to connect the dots on the dart. However, I do recommend that you get a ruler. I'm actually going to see if I can find a cheap ruler at the Dollar Tree since they have been expanding their craft section. The first time I attempted this dress, I used a lightweight poly tweed. Because it's the summertime and I do want to get a lot of wear out of it right now, I'm going with a green linen. It's showing up gray on camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see the shade of green at some point in this video because it is photographing very gray, but it is a green. Besides the dart marking on the pattern piece, the other issue I had when I reviewed this pattern before was the sizing. So I did go up 2 sizes and I cut a size 10. I find that this pattern runs a lot smaller than their usual sizing, so I would highly suggest that you take new measurements and compare them against the finished garment size. I may have mentioned in the original review that if you could, you should make this a center back zip dress because there's already a back zip at the neck and then there's also a side zip. Stephanie Canada also did a comparison video comparing the reproduction to the vintage, and she also recommended that you put a center back zip. I was being a bit stubborn and decided to do it the way that it was intended. So I did not do a full back zip. And I was really, really hoping that it all worked out in the end, and it actually did. The original bodice of this pattern was cut so it accommodates for the fact that it has to go over your head. This one does not. However, you do have to stop stitching exactly at the marking that's on the pattern. So that way, when you insert the zipper, there's enough ease to put it over your head. So make sure that you transfer all the markings from the bodice pattern to your fabric perfectly. And that will give you just enough ease when you cut the right size to be able to pull it over your head without having to put a back zip. But if you're unsure and uncomfortable with doing that, just go ahead and do a full length back zip and you can avoid all of that. So here's what really draws me to this particular pattern. It's the neckline detail. And the neckline detail definitely looks difficult, but the important part to making this as easy as possible is making sure that you transfer all of the markings to the bodice, including the direction of the pleats. Once you do that, the hard part is over because all you're having to do is take the solid lines to the broken lines, or vice versa, and then you're pinning and you're basting everything in. And after that, that technically should have been what was the difficult part of this pattern if you weren't having to decipher the fisheye darts on the skirt. Because of the intricate neck detail, the bodice is going to come together a little bit different than most dresses. Usually you'll do the complete bodice and then you attach it to the skirt. In this case, you're going to sew up the complete back part of the bodice and then the front part of the bodice, and you're not going to connect them at the shoulders until after you connect them to the skirt. So in the previous clip, you saw me sewing the back of the bodice to the back of the skirt. Now I'm bringing the right sides of the front of the bodice together. Moving on, you have to add the neck facing to the neckline as well before moving forward with attaching the shoulder seams. And a huge thing I want to stress with this pattern is if you do not transfer every single marking from that pattern to the bodice pieces and so on, you are going to struggle with piecing this together because it's not going together in the same steps that you're used to. And you also have to accommodate for that really cool pleating in the front. So you're going to need to know where to stop and start your stitching. And if you don't have those marks put on before you start piecing it together, you're going to have a really hard time putting it together after the fact. I can't believe I'm saying that, but the bodice is done, so technically the easy part is done. And now I'm moving on to the front of the skirt, and I am doing the fisheye darts. At this point, I am not sure that I did the dart placement in the right place, so I didn't even film the process. I would have compared it to my dress form, but I don't have my dress form with me, so I was kind of like winging it. But it does work out in the end, spoiler alert. So I'm gonna pop in a photo or video of me showing the dart placement for the size 10. Once I'm done sewing the darts on both sides, I put them right sides together and start sewing down the center seam. I also put a stay stitch around the edge of the top of the skirt to make sure that nothing stretches out as I'm touching, working, and fiddling with the pattern pieces. And a stay stitch is just a permanent and or temporary stitch that you put within the seam allowance of your garment to help that curved area or straight edge not to stretch out. I have a bad habit of skipping this step if I'm in my sewing room because I know I won't be touching this piece again until it's time to attach it to the bodice. But since I'm not in my sewing room and I'm going to have to move my pieces around because I'm sharing a space with my family, I went ahead and put a stay stitch on because I knew I would touch the skirt a lot before actually sewing it together. Now I am sewing the front of the bodice to the front of the skirt. You want to ease the bodice between the dots that they have placed on the bodice around the bust area to help it to match up with the skirt. While easing that bust, you want to avoid making some unnecessary folds or pleats in there, so you have to be very careful. Also, you want to make sure that the center front of the bodice lines up with the center front of the skirt because it's supposed to meet at a point. I did mess this up a tiny bit and I had to seam rip, and then I didn't want to overwork the loose weave of the linen. So after fixing it the second time, I felt like there was room for improvement, but I wasn't willing to go back in there because I didn't want to damage the integrity of the fabric. So even I have to choose when I accept some mistakes. And then I decided to move on, and it's time to start sewing up the shoulder seams. So it's starting to look more and more like a dress, and the hardest parts are behind us. I add a fusible interfacing to the facing pieces for the neckline to hold its shape really well. I added the interfacing to the facing pieces instead of the neck pieces itself because I wanted there to be a tiny bit of stretch to it so that way I didn't have wrinkles around the neck. So then I sew those right sides together and then you have to hand sew the facing down so that way it looks nice on the other side. The entire time that you're sewing up this neck piece, you're making sure that the elongated pleated part of the bodice is out of the way because that is going to be flipped over the neckline and sewn down by hand. I did pick up some pinking shears since the last video, so I am using pinking shears to finish the seams on this dress. I plan on dry cleaning it because I don't like wrinkly clothes and linen is very prone to wrinkles once washed. So in order to avoid that and keep the look that it has right now, I think I'm just going to stick with the dry cleaners. However, if you want, you can use a seam binding to finish your edges, or you can serge it. And if you're up for the challenge, I bet you could partially line just the skirt since most of this dress is skirt and it would also look really nice and you could avoid having to wear a slip under it because I highly recommend that you wear this dress with a slip so you don't have to fight to get it on and off. Once you've sewn up the side seams, then you want to reinforce the underarm seam because this does not have a gusset. So there's going to be a lot of tension on that underarm seam when you lift your arms up and down, especially when putting it on. So you're going to put two stitches to the right and the left of the seam allowance to add some extra strength to that seam under the arm. Now it's time to hem, and I use a hem tape because I feel like this would look a lot smoother and flatter on such a wide hem. I find that with thinner fabrics, if you do like the fold over method to hem, it can kind of come off as bulky. And so my way around that is to use a soft hem tape, which is what I'm doing now. I'm sewing it on by machine and then I finish it off by hand. If you haven't already, please consider liking this video. If you enjoyed your time with me, leave me a comment. Let me know, would you sew this dress? Have you already tried sewing this dress? And if you failed, would you give it another go? Because I'm so glad that I tried it again because I'm in love. While I still stand by all of my initial feelings in the first review of this pattern, I do think that the end result is worth the extra effort to decipher the front dart placement as well as the sizing issues. I know we're all wondering about the future of simplicity patterns or the big four patterns in general, so I would highly recommend that you snag this pattern while you can because I just adore it. I actually have the PDF copy as well. And I don't know, I got this pattern mainly for this version, but part of me really wants to try the full skirted version as well. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you would like to support my channel any further, you can leave me a virtual tip over on Ko-fi or become a bobbin over on Patreon, where you can see these videos early and get some exclusive content as well as sneak peeks for upcoming projects. We would absolutely love to have you. Of course, the best free way to support me is to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.